to Career Chats with Laura. Today I'm going to talk about how to say no to your boss and at the same time gain respect. Now you might think, what? Say no to my boss? Wouldn't that piss them off? Absolutely not. If you do it tactfully, not only will your boss not be pissed off, they will actually respect you more. You may need to negotiate a lot of things at work. How much work you take on, what's part of your scope, what's not part of your scope, how much help or resources you need in order to complete an initiative, if you need to take time off and have someone cover for you, etc. If you don't negotiate and just accept whatever comes your way, you could be overburdening yourself. And if you're a team lead, that would cascade down to your team members as well. This results in an unhealthy amount of stress for yourself and your team and is not sustainable. So in this video, I will talk about how to negotiate with your boss and say no to extra work. First things first, saying no to your boss does not mean flatly saying no. If you flatly say no, it may not end well. So we want to be able to say no, but do it in a way such that it is well received. Typically, you want to offer an alternative solution and reframe it as, no, but how about we do this instead? Of course, you may not be let off easily just by saying that, and there is a negotiation process. Before we get into how to negotiate, we need to first be in the right mindset to negotiate. One common misconception I see people have is that they think things are not negotiable. Timelines are set in stone, and if you don't deliver, then the world is going to blow up. It's not. You have to do everything that your boss asks of you because your boss said so. You don't have to. You may not want to disappoint people or come off as incapable, so you push yourself extra hard to deliver, even when the ask wasn't so realistic in the first place. A lot of things are negotiable. You just have to try. And if you think negotiating is like going into a battle and you have reservations about doing that, then try to think of negotiating as trying to find a solution together that works for both parties. It's about getting creative and problem solving. You're not in there to fight. What's holding you back from negotiating? Leave a comment below. So, how do you negotiate? Here are my tips in short. Prepare and know what you own. Tell your boss the cost. Prioritize, and propose alternative solutions. First, prepare as much as you can in advance of the negotiation. You should be clear on your job mandate and what should fall in your realm and what shouldn't. Refer to that mandate and see if you should be taking on this task in the first place. Or maybe it should land with another colleague or with another team. Get ready to support your stance with facts. You need to be aware of what is on your plate already, how important those items are, and why you're doing them. What are the deadlines for those items, and how much time it takes to complete those items. You need to know this because when you say no to extra work, you need to give a reason why. Sometimes your boss can underestimate the amount of time it takes to do a task because they're not aware of all the details. If they expect something to be done in one day, but it really takes more than a week, then you really shouldn't have to jump through hoops to meet those expectations. Explain to your boss why it could take longer than they expect, and once they know what the cost of the extra task is, it may help them realize that going after that task is not worth it. If you can give a good reason for your stance and explain how full your plate is, then that will help convince your manager to take some things off your plate or to give you more time. Help your boss by analyzing the pros and cons of prioritizing one task over another. You can give your manager a choice by saying, shall I continue these items on my plate or deprioritize something for this new task? This way, you'll still have the same amount of work, but you're still doing what your boss is asking for. When you negotiate, articulate what you need in order to be successful, or try to come up with an alternate solution. Remember, you are not just staying a problem like, I can't do this, and then throwing the ball to your boss's court. Maybe you can limit the scope of a task and work out a longer timeline. Or you might need to leverage some expertise from another colleague, or suggest someone else will be able to better help with the ask. That way, you're not necessarily taking on extra work, but you're still helping your boss solve the problem, and that would help you gain their respect. That's what I noticed when I observe senior leaders in our team negotiate. They're very meticulous about what they should own and what other teams should own. They negotiate their scope and what resources are required to deliver their scope. If they take on an expanded scope, they ask for more resources. If there are not enough resources, they cut down on the scope or put the project on the queue for later. If you're working on something and you realize there are a lot of unforeseen challenges and it's taking you longer than you expected, then you may need to renegotiate the deadlines. It's better to do so as soon as you know that there's a risk of not meeting the deadline. You need to communicate the risk clearly, why and how it impacts the timelines, and propose new timelines and milestones. Sometimes, maybe after all those efforts, you still do not reach a solution that works for both parties. Then you're going to need to decide if you're going to straight up say no or compromise. You may be tempted to compromise since your boss holds some power over your employment, but make sure you pick your battles and set boundaries. Don't be someone that your boss can take for granted. Anyways, I hope these tips help you with saying no and negotiating with your boss. If you like this video, please subscribe, comment, and give a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Bye.